This is the church, the third biggest church in the world, built in the shortest time in the history of Christian world. In the sight of God, it is not important how successful you are, but it is important in the sight of God how faithful you are. Jesus did so much on the cross, and how much we are supposed to do for the people whom he loved so much,
Yes.
paid so much. That's a driving force. This is the church, the third biggest church in the world, built in the shortest time in the history of Christian world.
Wow.
Never ever happened this. And I want to challenge pastors and leaders. If God could do it in India, He can do it elsewhere.
Yeah.
All that we need is to claim the promise of God, hold on to it. Our God is a good God.
And India, is it a Christian nation?
No way. It is not.
What percentage?
It's about 5% Christians.
5% Christians.
And when you have 5% Christians, you have a church of 120,000 members. Think about America. It used to be called a Christian nation. It was 60 to 70% of Christians. If God could do so much with 5% of Christians, how much God would have done, could have done in this nation if people are faithful, if pastors and preachers are faithful to the Word of God, if they can preach the pure Word of God. I think these things are possible anywhere, everywhere.
Wow.
Christ is our foundation, and He is holy, and He's expecting each one of us to be holy. And I know a great man of God in India who received an award of frequent flyer. He flew from north, east, and west and south. Not only that, he even preached in this country. He was so respectful pastor, preacher. But one fine day, a news broke saying that he fell in adultery. That really broke my heart because I listened to his messages all the time. Such a wonderful preacher, a great teacher of Bible, but fell in sin. When he fell in sin, he admitted publicly, and he stepped out of his own ministry, and he said, I'm not worthy to preach anymore. I failed God. I failed people who trusted me. Please forgive me. He even printed a pamphlet asking people to forgive him. God taught me a great lesson, dear friends. In the sight of God, your character, your testimony is more precious than your ministry, than your church, than your organization, than your service. And God taught me a great lesson saying that lose whatever you can if you want to, but never ever lose your testimony. Never ever lose your character. It's because of this great man of God repented in public, repented before God. Do you know what happened? When he repented before God, God forgave him. But when he repented before men, they did not forgive him. A separate time for my God, which means I set separate time for my God. Every day morning, 30 minutes, I spend time with God. Every evening, maybe 30 minutes or 1 hour, I separate myself. I go to an isolated place. When I came to Hyderabad, I was living in a small room with my friends. It was not easy for me to spend time with God all alone. Do you know what I used to do? I used to spend time with God in the bus stands after 10 o'clock. Because in the bus stands after 10 o'clock, no much buses in those days. I would kneel down in the bus stands, taking that cement basements as a support, or cement benches as a support. I would kneel down and pray. And at times when I have no place to pray, I would go to bathroom, clean the entire bathroom, and wipe it away, and then kneel down and pray. As a student, I make sure that every day I spend at least 3 hours time with God. When I came to Hyderabad for many years, I would spend at least 6 hours to 7 hours with God every day. Read Bible, meditate the Word, and spend time with God. Dear brothers and sisters, this is my question. Do you have time for God? Can you tell me this is the particular hour that I have separated for my God? Morning 6 to 7, morning 5 to 6, evening 9 to 10, or 10 to 11. What is the time that you have? What is the time that you have? The evidence is clearly seen that her faith brought answer to her need. The Bible says, faith without deeds is dead. There are many people trusting God, but there is no evidence of your trust. Ruth trusted God, and there was an evidence of her trust, proving that she trusted God. Can you show the evidence of your faith? Can you show the evidence of your trust in God? Where is the evidence? Last year, your hands were emptied. 6 months back, your life is empty. Even today, you are empty. Where is your faith? Where is the evidence of your faith in God?
Calvary Marriage Bureau facilitates the meeting up of family members of eligible young people to find their respective partners and plan and prepare for their marriage. Dr. Satish Kumar conducts these marriages in Calvary Temple Auditorium in a grand manner. Calvary Temple Prayer Tower. Calvary Temple Prayer Tower was established on the principle that we need to pray for one another as instructed by the Lord in His Word. Dr. Satish Kumar established the Calvary Temple 24-hour prayer tower with the desire to have an army of prayer warriors. Every day, thousands of people from across the world call up the prayer tower requesting for prayer and counsel and for other emergency prayer requests. The Calvary Temple Prayer Warriors team pray with great faith for these believers, and the Lord is answering their prayers.
Okay, now here in America, a lot of times you have to pay a lot of money to rent a church to hold a wedding, and even the pastor gets paid sometimes hundreds of dollars to perform a wedding. But at Calvary Temple, if you are a member and you want to get married, then it's for free. Is that right?
Everything is free. Again, the principle is I am their spiritual father. A spiritual father, how can I charge them to solemnize their marriage? How many times they get married in a lifetime? Only once. All that I want to make sure that our church members will use the facility for free of cost. And me as a pastor, I go and give gifts to them to bless them and tell them I love them. And all our church members, whenever they have marriage, they come to the hall, they use the premises, and all the facilities for free of cost. And I go and solemnize these marriages for free of cost. If poor people come and they even can't pay for the food, we take care of even food also.
Wow.
We provide food also for free of cost. What I'm saying is, it's all about love, love in action. Jesus did so much on the cross, and how much we are supposed to do for the people whom He loved so much,
Yes.
paid so much. That's a driving force.
If you love your sheep,
Если вы любите ваших овец,
feed your sheep.
кормите ваших овец.
When you love and feed your sheep,
Если вы любите и кормите овец,
you are protecting the sheep.
то вы и защищаете
They will
овец,
not leave your church.
чтобы они не оставили
They are
церковь,
protected.
потому что они под защитой.
And how do I love my sheep?
И как я люблю своих овец?
3 or 4 examples I give you.
3 или 4 примера.
The first thing,
Первое.
I went to Singapore.
Я отправился в Сингапур.
I went to a church.
Я был в церкви,
They've got 1,000 people.
где было 1000
I
человек.
asked assistant pastor,
Я спросил помощника пастора,
among 1,000 people,
среди 1000 людей,
if one doesn't show on Sunday,
если один не появляется в воскресенье,
can you recognize? Can you find
вы
that person?
можете об этом узнать?
Do you know what he said?
Вы знаете, что он мне ответил?
No one can find in this world the absenteeism. No one can find the absentee on Sundays.
Никто не может найти кого бы то ни было, кто отсутствует по воскресеньям.
But then I said,
Что я сказал?
in my 100,000 church members,
Среди моих 100 тысяч членов церкви,
if one doesn't come,
если один не приходит,
I know it.
я об этом знаю.
He said,
Они сказали,
it is impossible.
это невозможно.
Do you want to protect your church?
Вы хотите защищать вашу церковь?
Let me tell you this.
Тогда делайте следующее.
99 sheep came home.
99 овец пришли домой.
One sheep doesn't come.
Одна овца не пришла.
The shepherd's heart was on that one sheep.
Сердце пастора было с этой одной овцой.
Many times
Много раз
we preach to the people who come to church.
мы проповедуем людям: придите в церковь.
We don't care for the people who doesn't come on Sunday.
Мы не заботимся, если кто-то не пришел
That's the
в
reason
воскресенье.
why churches are not growing. And God gave me this wisdom.
И Бог дал мне эту мудрость.
In 2007,
В 2007 году
I have implemented swiping card system in my church.
я в церкви внедрил эту систему карточек.
Every member will have, just like your tags, every member will have access card when they come to church.
Каждый член церкви, когда он приходит в церковь, он имеет с собой вот такую карточку, подобно тем, что у вас
As they
висят.
walk in,
Они входят,
they swipe and go inside.
и они эту карточку проводят и запускаются внутрь.
Those who doesn't come on Sunday,
Те, кто не пришел в воскресенье,
they will not swipe.
их карточка не прокатилась.
In the system,
В системе
I know who has come and who has absent.
я знаю, кто приходил, а кто отсутствовал.
Immediately from our church, we start calling people.
And Pastor, just to wrap things up today, what would you say to someone out there who's in a situation where they feel like God's calling them to step out in their faith?
If you depend upon a man, you get what man can give. If you depend upon a church, you get what the church can give. If you depend upon an organization, you get what an organization can give. If you depend upon God, you get what God can give. And that is what I was doing all these years. I depended upon God. As a result of that, I received what God can do. I'm a pastor to the largest church in India, third biggest church in the world, built a church of 18,000 capacity in 52 days. It's not possible for me, but I depended upon God, stepped out of faith, and I've seen what many have not seen in the history of the world. The same thing can happen in your life.
The second chapter of Acts 47, praising God and enjoying the favor of all the people. And the Lord added to their number daily those who were being saved. The souls were won daily. There was a soul winning. Yes, if you are a true Christian, if you are a practicing Christian, if you are a Bible-believing Christian, if you are a true follower of Christ, you will definitely win souls. Soul winning will be your business. Soul winning will be your priority. Soul winning will be your lifestyle. Every day, new souls were added to the church. Let me question this. When was the last time that you shared about Jesus Christ to somebody? When was the last time that you brought somebody to God's presence? When was the last time that you went to your friend, reached your relative and said, come, there is a solution for your problem. Now our temple is the biggest one in the nation.
अभी हमारा जो टेम्पल है वो हमारे देश में सबसे बड़ा है,
The third biggest one in the world.
पूरे संसार भर में तीसरा नंबर का है.
And how is that made possible?
और ये कैसे संभव हुआ?
Many times, many people question me.
बहुत बार बहुत सारे लोग मुझे प्रश्न पूछते हैं.
An elderly mother came to me
एक बहुत ही बूढ़ी माता मेरे पास आई.
and she was looking at me and said, I'm so proud of you.
वो मेरे तरफ देख करके कह रही थी कि मैं आपके बारे में बहुत गर्व करती हूँ.
But I have a question.
परंतु मेरे पास एक प्रश्न है.
How is this possible to have such a big ministry within such a short time?
ये कैसे संभव है कि थोड़े समय में ही इतनी बड़ी सेवा को आपने खड़ा किया?
Within short time, this ministry has reached this stage. How is that possible?
बहुत ही थोड़े समय में ये सेवा बहुत ही ऊंचाई को छू ली है. ये कैसे संभव हुआ?
I said,
और मैंने कहा
it is not a short period.
ये तो थोड़ा समय नहीं है।
And this ministry was established in 1991.
और इस सेवा की शुरुआत जो है 1991 में हुई थी।
Which means nearly 22-23 years back.
इसका अर्थ यह है कि 22-23 साल के पहले की बात है।
Do you know at what age, by God's grace, that this ministry was founded?
क्या आप जानती है कि परमेश्वर की दया से इस सेवा की शुरुआत कब हुई?
20-21 years.
20-21 साल के पहले।
At the age of 20-21 years, God enabled me to start this ministry.
जब मैं 20-21 साल का था तभी परमेश्वर ने इस सेवा की शुरुआत करने के लिए मेरी सहायता की।
At the age of 17 and 18, I started preaching Jesus Christ.
In 1995, I was praying and preparing myself to speak to 15 people. And at that time, God spoke to me again. I am going to give you a mega church. In 1995, I was not even a pastor at that time. When he said, I'm going to give you a mega church, I couldn't believe it. After I finished my preaching, I came and told to my friends, saying that, Jesus, God spoke to me. He's going to bless us with a mega church. In those days, mega church means 2,000 people or 3,000 people. A nation like India, having a church of 1,000 members itself is a great number.
Yeah.
So 95 passed, 96, 98, 99, 2000, nothing happened. 2004,
Nothing at all?
Nothing happened. For 10 years.
Were you still preaching and sharing?
Yes, I was preaching. I was traveling a lot, and I was called to be an evangelist at large, preaching to thousands of people. But though God promised to me that He's going to give me a mega church, nothing happened. But I want to tell all the pastors and preachers, God promises doesn't mean that it's going to take place tomorrow itself.
Yeah.
I waited for 10 years, and I never gave up. If He said so, He will do it. But I got to wait until He started working in my life. 2005, again God whispered in my spirit, start the church, which I have told you. In 2005, yes, He spoke to me to start the church. I waited for 10 years, but how long it is going to take place to become a mega church? Even to start, it took 10 years. So by faith, I started this temple called Calvary Temple with 25 people. But that 25 people, within 1 year's time, turned to be almost 1,000 people. The second year, 2,000, the third year, 3,000, and then 8,000, and the 20,000, and 40,000, and 50,000. Last 2 years alone, about 60,000 members are added to the church. Now, less than 10 years, our church is about 120,000 members.
Wow, awesome.
Yes.
Praise
Yes. This is what happened in India.
Now, so when you were preaching and there was only 24 people there,
25.
25 people there, one's important. Did you change anything? Like, can you take credit for this somehow? Did you become a completely different person? Or you were just faithful then, and you're faithful now, and God gave the increase?
I tell you one thing. In the sight of God, it is not important how successful you are, but it is important in the sight of God how faithful you are.
Hello everybody, in the Ministries, I want to say special thanks to every Hindi language people, the next English, the most language you have, lots of views in our channels in Hindi. Wow, I really love your nations, India, Pakistan. And I want to encourage you with these episodes because I know it's difficult to do a ministries, to preach the gospel. I know to have many poverty, necessity in India, but I encourage you, if God could do in Pastor Satish Kumar, He could do in your life. Believe in impossible. He is a God for impossible situation. I know in America it's more easy, have more money, have more training, more Bible school, but to God, nothing impossible, nothing impossible. And I want to really encourage in your life in these episodes.